For ala hubbihi, that is for the sake of Allah, for the love of Allah. Based on the love of Allah, yutimuna ta'ama. And also some others translated as, despite the fact that they are so hungry that they fall in love with food, yet they feed the needy, the hungry, those in prison, etc., etc. And he thought they would understand the message, but they said, all right, Abu Hurairah, we tell you the tafsir, and they took some time in teaching him the meaning. And whenever they went away, he said, as if I didn't know, they know the Quran better than I. Until Rasulullah came out. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, Abu Hurairah, what are you asking? Ask me. He said, Ya Rasulullah, this is the verse, I want the meaning of this verse, what it means. He said, Abu Hurairah, you're hungry, aren't you? God has sent me a bowl full of milk. So he was very happy, Alhamdulillah, I'm going to drink that milk. So instead of asking him to come into the house and have the share the milk, he said, but there will be other hungry people won't there. So why don't you go out and speak loud, call at the loudest of your voice. Whoever is hungry, who is needy, whoever is this and who is that, may come and join us. That made his heart sink. He said, gosh, only one cup of milk. And Rasulullah is saying, but this was his love for him which made him transfixed to the mosque. So he would never disobey. He went and shouted. And some, not only one or two, but quite a few, joined him. He said, yes, we are ready, come on. And he led the procession back to Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So here they are. He said, all right, be seated. And he asked someone to sit on his right. It was not Abu Hurairah. He asked another person to sit on his right. That was not Abu Hurairah. Until all finished and Abu Hurairah was left. And he seated him on his left. But that was another ominous sign for Abu Hurairah. He knew Rasulullah would always start distributing things from his right. And there was one cup of milk and quite a few hungry people starting from the right. What would be left for third or fourth person even? But as far as Abu Hurairah is concerned, he had written it off. He said, all right, no milk for me. But he reports himself. He said, strange things happened that day. Rasulullah gave it to one person, he drank it to his full. And the Rasulullah said, drink some more. I said, one thing which didn't please me was that drink some more. You know? So what's happening? God, he's so generous. So it happened to the same second person and to the third and to the fourth, and the milk wouldn't finish until it reached Abu Hurairah. And then Rasulullah smiled at him and said, the meaningful smile, Abu Hurairah, drink this one. And he drank and drank and drank, but the bowl would not be emptied. Until Rasulullah said, drink more, I'm telling you. He said, I drank so much until I said, oh Prophet of Allah, I have reached a stage where the milk will spring out of my nails and feet and fingers. I'm so full. So then he said, all right, and took the bowl and drank at the end himself. Now this was a miracle indeed, but a miracle which is so potent with wisdom and so depictive of what the verse meant. That shows Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew the meaning of the Quran like none else in the world could. No one who attempted to have a tafsir of this verse could have done this better. It's impossible. يُسِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ يُطِعُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَىٰ حُبِّهِ. That is the tafsir he wanted to know. And Rasulullah said, all right, sit in the end. Then you will see what it means. You have fallen, you have reached a state of hunger where you have really madly fallen in love with food. And yet I'm asking you to sit on the left and wait for these people, to sacrifice for their sake your own comfort. So what a beautiful way of teaching, and also it gave the message, if you do it really in life, then Allah will never leave you penniless or a pauper or without or a needy. He would take care of your requirements. He would see to it that your wealth never ends. This was the second message in it. And the third one, that Allah will give so much blessing to the very small possessions of yours. That Allah knows how to do it, that your possessions will not end. Instead, that one meaning is that He will give more and more. This is a different type. This is a different understanding of this. That even if you have small things, they will never finish. And we have seen this happen many a time, that even small foods are made by Allah so blessed that a large number of guests partake of them and eat plentiful, and the food somehow doesn't finish. And if there are some greedy people, then even the big food finishes and some people are left hungry. So this was the seed, and the last point was that Rasulullah ﷺ himself was the hungriest of all. That is why he kept himself at the end. Now this is Abu Huraira. And when the Muslims conquered the palaces of Persia and distributed the personal properties of Kisra, then the Caliph called Abu Huraira to come forward and said, this is the handkerchief studded with the most precious jewels of Kisra, who used it not for spitting or wiping his mouth, but this was like in the present days, the handkerchiefs only by way for showing off, as a display of some grandeur or greatness. So they put the handkerchief here. They don't use that. It's too precious for wiping things. Too precious to wipe things with. Now, the Caliph gave him that. And look at the richness of that man. He spat at it. And said, Bakhe Bakhe Abu Huraira. What a glory to you. The handkerchief of the king, which he would not dare to spit upon. You are a servant of Muhammad, so you are spitting at it. You do not care. So when people are changed in attitudes, when they fail to care or would not care for worldly things, they come to follow them like maids, like slaves. The same thing is going to happen to you again. God was not only that of Abu Huraira or Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu early servants. He himself has promised that his blessings will be extended to the second age. وَآخَرِينَ مِنْهُمْ لَمَّا يَلَقُوا بِهِمْ. So why don't you be the first of the Akhareen? Why lag behind? When it's too late to believe, because belief at the end does not pay you much. Everybody, it becomes a fashion for everyone to accept. So in short, this is what is going to happen to the Arab world. The leadership which God granted you, which slipped out of your hands over the last 14 centuries, we are inviting you to get it back. But by abandoning the world, not by pursuing it as you are doing today, by abandoning the world for the sake of Allah and offering your services, your life, your property, for the name of Allah in this second movement of Islam's revival. Right?
Jazakumullah. But if you allow me to, does this mean that it is bound to happen?
What?
I mean this victory for the Arab world.
No, not for the Arab world. This victory for Islam.
For Islam.
Is bound to happen.
Yes.
Hazrat Muhammad